I want to talk about something. And this is I'm a little late on this one because this came out in July, and it was talking about why would Marvel even consider stripping the Spider-Man title from Miles Morales. This was from the Mary Sue. So it has some things I wanted to talk about because this is something that, well, has been a point of contention with me since I first started this. And more to the point, for some reason, it's been brought back up more and more. And that is, of course, the whole thing about giving minorities or having minorities take the name of a more famous white character. And mostly they call it a promotion. Now, my whole thing with Riri Williams, of course, don't call her Iron Man, call her Ironheart, put her in an Ironheart book, let her have her own identity. Same thing with Faux Hulk. Yeah, well, he had a Faux Hawk. You know, let Amadeus Cho be his own character. You're talking to me about Falcon becoming Captain America, and it's a promotion. It seems incredibly racist. So Mary Sue came up with this article here. There was apparently a time in 2018 when Marvel somehow thought Spidey was going to be a great code name for Miles Morales to use. Luckily, they came to their senses and didn't take away the title of Spider-Man from the Brooklynite. My question now is, why was it ever even a thought? Okay, first of all, we agree on one thing. Spidey is a dumb as hell name. Glad they didn't go. I always thought, if you're going to take someone's name, give them Tarantula or something along those lines. You know, why not? You make him his own character, because I don't think he should be Spider-Man. Why? Spider-Man exists. Yeah, hi. Give him his own identity. Now, they go on to say, according to Business Insider, Marvel considers taking away the title, but ultimately decided not to. Thankfully, it would have made him less important. Wrong. And that's where I think they really make their mistake. For some reason, they feel this makes him important. Why? Because he has somebody else's identity. If he's a good character, it would stick no matter what. Didn't matter what you called him in Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse was a well-animated, well-written show. And if it was Spider-Man meets up with whatever you wanted to call him, it would have fit because that was a good movie. Let's see. He becomes Spider-Man with an asterisk. It takes away the power for the kids who relate to this character. Former Marvel editor Charles Beachman told the site. The idea was that Miles would spend more time becoming a super spy. And while cool in theory, there's no reason he couldn't do that and still be Spider-Man. And so Mary Sue, being completely honest, Spider-Man can be anyone. That's a message told throughout the comics. Okay, Breen, you and I have been reading Spider-Man now for 50 years almost. When was this an everybody could or anybody could be Spider-Man? When was that the message?
I believe that pretty much started with all new, all different, and the Ultimates. It's just it's a mindset now.
Oh yeah, about 3 years ago, right? 4 years ago.
Well, it's been building, and now it's kind of gained enough traction to where it really is. That just none of the characters. It's none of the original concepts of the characters seem to matter. It's the newer versions that we're supposed to focus on.
And I'll just being a Spider-Man fan, with the whole Bendis thing, as far as that 1610 worked out because Spider-Man, Peter Parker, we saw him get killed in his front lawn, by the Sinister Six and the Green Goblin. So everybody thought he was dead. It turns out now he just pulled the Superman thing, and he's been alive this whole time. Him and MJ go to live out their lives together. He gives up being Spider-Man. He lets Miles, who was also bitten, he lets Miles be the new Spider-Man. That was a good send-off, and that's what we should have done. The fact that they brought Miles into the 616 universe, and you're still calling him Spider-Man, well, it's not really that great because, hey, we already have that. We're not going to have two Captain Americas. We're not going to have, two Thors at the same time. That's ridiculous.
Well, make no mistake, as far as, outlets like the Mary Sue is concerned, Miles Morales is Spider-Man. and he's far more important than Peter Parker for one reason. And we don't have to say what it is.
Well, two, because he's mixed. And Aqualad's pointing that out. How about Arana, spider in Spanish? Isn't Miles mixed with it? Yes, he is. A lot of people call him black, but he's actually a mixed character.
Like I said, there's been other versions. Even in the Disney's cartoon, Ultimate Spider-Man, when they had this issue, they called him Kid Arachnid. And I was like, I don't want to call Kid. He's like, well, you're not be called Spider-Man.
The Arachnid. How about anything other than it?
Yeah.
Web slinger.
Because he said, you're pretty much my sidekick if you want to be going around as just 20 spiders as it is.
How about web slinger or something along those lines? Give him his own identity and let him keep it. These people, it amazes me how racist they can be in the name of not being racist.
You also remember Scarlet Spider was Kane. Remember they brought Kane back for a while, and Kane became the black and the red costume in the main universe. Kane did not become called Spider-Man. He's like, no, I am not Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man, because he had the stingers come out. He hated Peter Parker. My name is Scarlet Spider. I am not Spider-Man. So he actually moved away from New York just to get away from all that crap. So I'm saying they can do stuff like that. You would have Miles be a Spider-Man, but don't call him Spider-Man. Give him his own identity. Let him be in a different city.
Okay, so the person goes on to say, I think the problem stems from the fact that whoever was behind making this suggestion in the first place didn't realize the significance of Miles Morales. Peter Parker is the first Spider-Man, yes, but as we learn throughout each new version of the character, it's about what each individual brings to that role, no matter who's behind the mask. Peter brought a hero for Queens. Gwen brought strength after her loss. Think maybe Peter did so also, you douche. And Miles brings hope that everyone could stand up and do what is right, like Peter Parker did 50 freaking years before Miles Morales was created because Bendis wanted a paycheck. They all struggle, they all lost, but they're all important to the legacy that is Spider-Man, Peter Parker. So even contemplating stripping Miles of the title for a minute is upsetting because he deserves to be Spider-Man just as much as Gwen. No, Gwen doesn't. And no. Peter and any Spidey who comes along is, it's yet another frustrating sign that though it was avoided in the end, there are still those in positions of power behind the character who would treat his importance carelessly. No, you moron. They're not saying Miles Morales isn't important. They're saying he should have his own identity. That means you're an individual. You're important. What you guys and your freaking idiot writer pals that do this all the time, and I've actually had a discussion with the editor, is you guys say they aren't important. What's important is the gosh darn costume, not the person inside them. And that's why it never works when anybody else but Steve Rogers puts on the costume of Captain America, because nobody should be having that kind of influence on the people. It was the person inside the outfit that makes it. That's why these characters mean something. Eric and I had done a video, and we were talking about how these writers just go, well, it's just a fictional character. It's just a fictional character. Yes, we freaking know it's only a fictional character. Thank you very much. Been reading them since I was 4 years old. But the thing is, you follow the continuity. And that's something else you guys don't believe in, which, of course, me and Eric did another video on over on Old Man Comics. And you don't realize that when you read these over and over, when you read them for as long as we have, no, they're more than just that. They're inspirations, no matter what color or freaking creed, you dumbasses. Because nowadays you think, oh, well, only black kids can find inspiration in black characters, or only white kids can find inspiration in white characters. Hey, I was a big Power Man fan when I was 6 years old, you jackanapes. It just freaking kills me that you guys don't see the importance of a character who has their own name, because you would much rather put them in the identity of a more famous white character. It just doesn't freaking, you know what? If we show that, then what are you really doing? What is behind that? If you strip somebody of their identity to give it to somebody else, for some reason they're more important. They aren't the freaking president. We're going to change every 4 freaking years. Just shut the, Okay, so anyway, they go on to say, Peter Parker was a newspaper photographer as well as Spider-Man, and there wasn't a conversation about stripping him of the title and making him Photo D or any, because he was the first one. It's his name. He's the guy. He's the first one, you freaking morons. It's not even a fair equivalence. Holy shit. This is why I stopped going to the Mary Sue.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to pull a Secret Empire with Spider-Man and have Spider-Man, die. And they're going to have Miles take over as Spider-Man. You know it's coming, right? With Marvel. They're going to do it. They're eventually going to say, you know what? White man bad, black man in.
Not as long as they have the movie rights.
It goes on to say, I'm glad that the idea stopped before it even made its way to print, because it isn't just about the storyline. It's about what Miles Morales. There are kids looking up to Miles and seeing they're seeing that they too can wear the mask in the same way I always had Peter. You just said it doesn't matter. Who the fuck wrote this thing?
Can we get a guy named Barf to throw up?
Hey, Rachel Leisman, I hope there's a picture at the bottom, and I hope she's got the pink hair. I think she already has. All righty, so, and then Gwen. And Gwen never wore the fucking Spider-Man costume, you dink.
Alternate universe, Gwen.
About comics and trying to work your storyline, and even if it takes away an important aspect of the character isn't the right move. Moron, give them their own identity. Okay, being an individual, that's the most important. Making your own stand, standing your own ground, doing right what's right. That's the So luckily we still have Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and hopefully this kind of thinking will stop, because really, do you want everyone to have to fight with those comic bros who would definitely, actually someone for saying Miles Morales is Spider-Man if given half an... No, because we're not as fucking racist as you are. We're not as sexist as you are. We don't see black people being weak because they've got their own goddamn identity and don't have an identity that has to be connected to a white guy. And that's what's being said here. Jesus, Lord in heaven. Where's the Tylenol?
Remember that video that you were talking about that we made about this?
Yeah.
Just delete that and post your rant. Trust me, the view count will be much better.
Fucking hell. Seriously. Okay, let me see what's going on.
As far as, like I said, as far as what they were doing before is Gwen, she's been in her own story, in her own world, Earth 65. Right now the fact that they decided we're going to send her back to the main universe, because they're starting to show up Champions again. It's coming out again. I think this week actually it's come out. So you're going to see Gwen back in the main Earth. So we're going to have another freaking Spider. And I don't know what happened to Kane. Is Kane dead? Is he still in the red and black down in Texas? What's going on? Is he...
Oh, so, okay, let me see.
I gave up. I didn't read Spider-Verse because I just got sick of I went through Clone Saga twice.
Let me, Clone.
3 times, actually, all with Bendis.
Maranya saying, actually, Stan Lee did say that Spider-Man could be anyone, but that was because Spider-Man wore a mask. He was not advocating turning Spider-Man into the character name into a franchise a la McDonald's. No, exactly right. What he was saying is that by Spider-Man being fully masked, anybody could see themselves in the role of Spider-Man. When you're reading the comic, you could put yourself into that position. You can imagine you are Spider-Man. Just get rid of all the Ultimate characters, says Dragon Ball. Tim Morrison is coming up with some names. Spider Bro, Spider Guy, Spider Non-Gender Specific, Spider Kid, The Spider, says Ash. Sticky Climby Man. Else, nope, can't do that one. Comics, can't even say that one. Did we lose Venkman? Bendis is a spit shiner. That's why his head shines. Okay. Let's see. The Brown Recluse. That is an interesting take. Yeah, we have those down in Florida a lot. There you go, gang. That's my whole take on the Miles Morales Spider-Man thing. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like and share and subscribe. That's most important. I'm trying to get past the 18,220 that YouTube will not allow me to get past. It's just a short goal. Also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, going over to Patreon or Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till and helps keep the lights on in the house here. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.